All my life, I've had a problem with my name. That's me, David Turicamo. What nationality is that? People always ask. Where's your family from? Well, actually, here.
This place is too beautiful. You just can't live without seeing it. You know?
Just off the coast of Sicily are 7 tiny islands. They were volcanoes once, now they're resorts. These are the Aeolian Islands, and the mythology surrounding them goes back as far as Homer's Odyssey. My grandparents were born here, so last summer I brought my family here, partly to give my daughter some sense of her heritage, but also to find some answers. See, this is the main island, the biggest. This is Lipari. My grandfather, Bartolomeo Turicamo, was born here. I think.
Solo queste? Solo queste qui.
Oh yeah, did I mention that I don't speak Italian? See, and my wife is Japanese.
That's yours.
We can't even sort clean towels from underwear, and I actually think I'm going to find out something about my heritage, but I had one phrase.
Mi nonno.
It means my grandfather.
E di Lipari?
Sì.
From Lipari. And I'd get one response.
Nome Turicamo.
No, a Lipari no.
Yeah, see,
Turicamo.
they never heard the name here either.
Turicamo.
Turicamo.
Not at the museum. Not at the laundry.
Turicamo.
Not even this professor who spent his life studying the history of these islands.
Nothing.
When his family came to America, my grandfather was just 7 years old, but he fulfilled the immigrant dream. Starting with nothing, he eventually began a construction company, then built a fleet of tugboats. There he is, Pop-Pop. He paved much of Brooklyn, the Belt Parkway, and the Verrazano Bridge. So how come nobody ever heard of us?
How about, is there another word? Doricamo.
Curicamo,
Curiciamo.
Turicamo, no, mai sentito, no. Turicamo, no. Dalbora, sì.
See, Dalbora, my grandmother's family, they know that name very well.
Dalbora.
Sì.
Santa Marina.
Maria
Dalbora sì. Turicamo no.
The Dalboras.
Dalbora avere molti soldi.
They own a hotel here, named for their eldest son. That's him. Augusto.
Signori? Signori Dalbora?
Signori, no. My name is Augusto.
Hi.
What's your name? Dalbora is very big family. Dalbora is Australia, America.
So big that who knows if we're even distant cousins, but his mother saw a resemblance.
Qui, tutta storia.
She's preserving the family history, because
Giuseppe
on
Dalbora.
this island anyway, their name carries some weight.
Augusto Dalbora.
The Highlands. Capisci?
Sì.
Boy, would he love to leave.
I like to theater, cinema. Capisci?
Sì.
Artista, spettacolo.
I think so.
There's just one thing keeping him here.
Io mamma dico di andare. Go, go. Lontano, lontano.
She kilo, capisci?
Kilo?
Pesante, capisci? She heavy, it's very old. Mentality is... She want to stay here.
Oh yeah, maybe I should have told you before this, but Lipari a couple hundred years ago was a prison. Mostly political prisoners, you know, intellectuals, interesting people, but then you also had your scum. Then
I never heard it.
I happened to meet
There are
Patricia,
books in the library also.
Yeah?
who had a friend, Catherine.
Turicamo.
Now, they're both from Florence and can trace their ancestors back 1,000 years. But they were curious enough about my genealogy to take me to the Hall of Records and explain to the woman there.
Turicamo di cognome?
Sì.
Sì.
She is more hopeful than anyone I've...
Yes. Turicamo.
Turicamo.
Concetta, la
Concetta,
nonna?
it's
A woman.
a woman, yes.
Woman, donna.
She was born in 1838, and I found 16 other relatives in there, including my grandfather. Except I guess by the time this picture was taken, surrounded by his children and grandchildren, he really didn't care about the past. It was the future that mattered.
Even if you ask anybody, I think they're not going to even know the name because you have to ask somebody that's already dead. That's who's going to know.
Well, a few days later, we left Lipari and went to the neighboring island, Salina. This is where my grandmother was born. And there's not a lot going on here. This is the center of town and the beach, and then there's a lot of grapevines growing. They like wine. We went for a tour of one of the local winemakers. There's not much to see in the middle of the summer, but anyway, we ended up buying $100 worth of wine. You remember this woman?
This place is too beautiful. You just can't live without seeing it. You know?
This is Clara Rametta, and she was taking us to see the sunset, but more important, she'd already given me a whole new understanding of my family. See, Clara runs the hotel where we were staying. And years after her family had left, she came back to these islands with her own unanswered questions.
When I was younger, I only had the maturity that I have today. I was asking things. And now I don't have anybody to ask, you know.
Well, in trying to piece together the fragments of her family's story, she ended up creating a museum here.
The idea came out visiting Ellis Island in New York. We are trying to put together a history of families and people, you know, for who they were when they went there, what they did, and the family. And
Well, one family's heirloom is just a dusty relic to somebody else, but the collection documents the thousands of people that left these islands in the late 1800s, exactly the time when my family left. And then in one corner was this, a dried-up grapevine.
this shows you the one of the reasons of this big emigration because of the sickness. The Phylloxera was a sickness of the vine.
Incredible. The phylloxera was a bug that destroyed the grapevines throughout Europe and these islands.
No grapes, no wine, nothing.
And the lack of jobs forced hundreds of thousands of people, like my family, forced them to leave.
Look this, how sad they are. You see them.
How many generations have grown up in America, not because of their great-grandparents' choice, but something, a bug?
Okay.
I wish people would hand down the family history as carefully as they do salad bowls and bric-a-brac. Because the story of our origins, that's something I'd like to give my daughter.